southeastern New Zealand on the other side of the international dateline. I got my trusty Akubra helmet, my trusty motor scooter, and I'm going exploring. I've just been here to the Cook Islands police station. Because to ride a scooter in this country, you need to get a temporary driver's license. Now, you think that'd be a con, but they give you a real plastic one and everything. So this is my 8th national driver's license. I get excited those shitty things. You know, Rarotonga, Cook Islands, was first settled in about 800 AD by nomadic, I suppose you'd call them, Polynesians who left Tahiti. And it was from here that the Polynesians set out to settle New Zealand and were the forebears of the Maoris. Europeans first set eyes on the shore in 1595 when Spanish explorers passed through, and Captain Cook passed through here in 1777, hence why they called it Cook Islands. One of the important questions: does Cook Islands count as one of the countries visited? Well, Cook Islands is in free association with New Zealand. Its sovereignty is held by Queen Elizabeth. It's not a member of the United Nations, but it is considered a separate country. So yeah, this is number 107. If I were to be critical for a second, I mean, clearly Cook Islands, beautiful, beautiful place. Just take a look behind me. White sanded beaches, blue skies, beautiful water. Now, one thing about the Cook Islands, they might have been buxom beauties in the day of Captain Cook when they were eating coconuts and fish, but since the coming of westernised food, let's just say there's the odd health and diabetes problem sitting here in Cook Islands. If one were to be cruel, one would say if you put 2 elephants and a hippopotamus into a mini miner, it would look in better shape than a Cook Islander in a bikini. Lovely people though, beautiful island. So the diving in Cook Islands wasn't so flash, I gotta say. A lot of greys and browns, and seemed to be a lack of large fish. And then it's also surprisingly, with a lack of large fish, there's a lack of small little critters, the sorts of things that I like to photograph. Took a couple of interesting shots, but not that many. Oh, I like the desert too, but there is no desert on the Cook Islands. I like jungle, and there is. So I'm now walking across the island south to north to see what I can see in the jungles and mountain terrains of the Cook Islands. After a while, the track loses a little bit of its clarity. And it's navigation by following your nose. The only wildlife I've seen here is the mosquitoes and chickens. Yep, chickens. So I can catch a glimpse of a rock formation called the Needle. It's a rock that sticks up basically in the middle of the island, looking like a needle. It better be worth it. Now I'm guessing the fact that I'm here and the needle is there and the track is going that way. But somewhere along the line, I just might have taken a wrong turn. I'm now at Araiti Tonga, and Araiti Tonga is an old part of pre-Christian Cook Islands, and this raised platform here behind me is where the old tribal chiefs used to have their investitures and where the annual fruit harvest was held. And these stones along the ground here and that raised platform are one of the few remaining parts of pre-Christian Cook Islands. As there were a number of families and therefore chiefs around the Cook Islands, there are a number of investiture places like this one here, which was the place of investiture for the local chief for this part of Cook Islands. This old ruin, which is a limestone former building, is known as Pa's Palace because an old chief Pa had this built out of coral and limestone, and that was the central point of his village. Unhelpfully, the guidebook doesn't tell me when it was built or how long ago Pa lived. Now, when I was in Bhutan, I pointed out that Bhutan was the only country that didn't have traffic lights. But I now recognise that Cook Islands also has no traffic lights. Now, Cook Islands might be a country, but it's not a member of the United Nations. So perhaps I can say Bhutan is the only member of the United Nations that has no traffic lights, because certainly Cook Islands doesn't. Oh, and by the way, you can now see why in this film my hair looks so dicky, because I've got a hairdo a la Motor Scooter Songs casquette.